Hello and welcome to the Kanawha Valley Hustlers. This is Joe Justice. I'm here with Roy at Meetup 64. Roy, tell me, buddy, what's your hustle?
Hey, I'm a boiler mechanic. I make things hot. I make things, processes, in plants like United Dairy, Valacor and Huntington. We separate oil, different types of heating processes, and that's my gig.
All right, so slow down a little bit here. Now tell me, what is a boiler processor? Say that again?
So I work on things that make things hot.
Okay.
So I'll take a steam boiler, you put water in it, and you put a fire in it. Once you boil water, you make steam, and it's contained in a vessel, and it's used in different operations.
Right.
Hospitals.
Most people use it to heat, like buildings and stuff like that, right?
You can. Hospitals, processing like dairies, processing like autoclaves in hospitals. You want to sterilize your devices after surgery. Autoclaves, steam is used there. A boiler makes that process.
Okay.
Valacor, they're in Huntington. They actually boil oil. So they make 500-degree oil. They separate the water and the nasty out of it. It's environmental. It's environmentally friendly,
So that's some pretty industrial usage for what you're doing then, right?
Yes, I do mostly industrial work, some commercial work. I do heating work in buildings.
And how did you get involved with this type of work?
I was 14 years old. I started out as an HVAC technician, working in homes.
Okay.
And I didn't like to crawl. I didn't like to crawl in attics. So I said, there's got to be a better way. So then I went back to school and learned rooftop chillers, chilled water. And there was a gentleman that I ran into that worked on boilers, and I kind of took an interest. So I went back to school again, and that's been my last stop.
And then
boilers.
And did you immediately start your own business?
No, sir. I started my business 9 years ago. I've been in the trades 31 years, and so 9 years ago I started Olson Boiler HVAC Services.
So most of the people that listen to the podcast are entrepreneurs and small business owners. Tell me a little bit about that process of starting your own business, and what was that like going out on your own?
Scared to death. Didn't know if I was going to make it or not. I quit a company, making, everyday work, everyday wages, to what are we going to do tomorrow?
So it's not unusual. So that's one of the first things I like to tell. It's not unusual to be a little scared when you go out on your own, right?
Yeah. It is. You'll be scared, but if you go try, go do good things, and good things will happen to you. That's all I can say. If you're good to someone else, it'll come back around every time.
So tell me, you've had you've had almost a decade of experience now. So tell me the one thing that you didn't expect about being a business owner, one thing that wasn't exactly what you thought it would be.
Well, when you're your own business owner, you no longer are employed by one man. You're employed by however many customers you got. You've got hundreds of bosses. It's no longer two bosses or three.
Not exactly your own boss, right?
Right. You're not your own boss anymore. You gave that up. So, it's not, the extravagant vacations and everything that everybody sees. It's, you better be willing to do 24/7, especially starting out, It eases up later on, but, you gotta know how to operate it, you gotta learn how to operate it.
Yeah, there's an element in the beginning of kind of investing in the future, right? You're going to put in those 60-hour weeks to begin with, right?
Yes, sir. You're correct. 60, 80, however, how much sleep you can get.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can sleep on 1 hour, and do it for 23, great, but that's kind of what it's like in the beginning.
That's right. And then you do a good job, and then gradually you build a reputation, and then that reputation will start to feed itself, right?
Yeah. If you do good things will come back. That's kind of my motto,
Great.
Treat someone the way you want to be treated. If you do that, you always have work, you always have something to do, you always have somewhere to be or go, do whatever,
And talk to me real quick about the Meetup 64 here tonight. We're at the Huntington Museum of Art, young professionals and people from all over the Metro Valley area. How's the night been for you?
It's been great. I was here with my daughters. I was a sponsor tonight for Mount West. My oldest daughter and my youngest work at Mount West, so kind of sponsored for them and for Meetup 64. I've met some great people and had some great speakers, and I enjoy it. It is a great thing. It's my first experience with this, and I like it.
Great. As we're kind of wrapping up, what piece of advice, what's the one thing that you would tell people that were out there thinking about starting their own business, thinking about going out on their own? What would you tell them if they came up to you and said, what advice?
If you're going to start your own business, kind of prepare before you decide to step off of the boat. So, meaning, if you're going to be a contractor, make sure that you got your contractor's license. Make sure you got your insurances. Make sure if you're not a bookkeeper, you have a bookkeeper. All those things are really important. That would be the preparation to start a business, any business, whether you're selling toothpicks to the the toothpick guy. You got to know those things. But that's what I would say to start out. And if you got that in place and you're good at what you do, give it a whirl, man. Go for it.
Great.
It's a good thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching and listening. This is Joe Justice, the Kanawha Valley Hustler, reminding you to hustle hard, hustle smart, and hustle with a smile.